Would you like to increase your bottom line and expand not only your kingdom impact, but your financial impact? Perhaps you don't know exactly what to do next in order to do that. Maybe you found yourself making a lot of investments in ads and other agencies and maybe even coaching, and you haven't seen a huge return on investment. And perhaps that has made you lose confidence in knowing what to focus on to expand your next level of business growth. If that's you, today's episode it is dedicated to helping you to unlock your next level of kingdom business growth through data and insights. Yeah, sounds kind of boring, data and insights, but let me tell you, if you're really ready to amplify your next level, let's tap in on that data and insights to help you to unlock what do you need to know, exactly what do you need to know to enter into your next level of growth without guessing what is next. All right, let's get into it. What's up, leader? Welcome to the Gifted Entrepreneur Show, the dopest podcast on the planet that explores the world of Christian entrepreneurship and reveals secrets to unlocking your unique codes to create generational wealth. I'm your host, LaDondra Hervey, wife, mom, award-winning author, and Christian business coach who's excited to take you on a transformational journey of taking bold steps to unlock your unique gifts and pursue your entrepreneurial dreams with unwavering faith. Buckle up. It's time to make your dreams of creating generational wealth a reality. What's up? What's up, you guys? Listen, I'm excited about today's episode. This is going to be a juicy episode as we go a little bit deeper in unlocking the codes to creating that generational wealth. We know that unlocking that generational wealth is you really tapping into your creativity, understanding your business operation, marketplace dominion, understanding time to expansion, and really scaling into that legacy impact. The thing about it though is when you are doing all these things, so there's one thing that most entrepreneurs forget, and they forget to really look into the data and the insights that really drive the growth. It's really woven in and really dictates what you need to focus on from a time investment, from a financial investment, even where to focus your team and marketing efforts. And so I'm going to be jumping in on that topic today with just a few tips that I believe are relevant and really are proven from not only within our business structure, but within the businesses that we have helped to elevate into their next level. Literally, there's been businesses that come to us, and like I said in the introduction, they have dumped money in ads. They've dumped money into marketing agencies. They've tried podcasting. They've done tripwires. They've done the launches, the live launches. They've done so many things, and they're like, okay, why is things not working? Where do I need to focus my time? And perhaps even have found themselves defeated and feeling a little bit unmotivated because it's like, okay, what do I do? What do I need to do next in order to amplify my next level of growth? So if that's you, let's talk about it. Let's get into it because it's about to be juicy. Okay, so the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, these are things that we literally, the three data and insights that we focus on as a company and that we focus our customers on. Because listen, you don't have time and you want to make sure you do have time. And let me just say this, let me rephrase that. You do have time, but we want to be a great steward of the time that we've been granted here on earth. to make sure that we're focusing on the things that really are going to move the needle in our business. And when I'm reminded of this, I'm reminded of the scripture in Matthew where it talks about with the parable of the sower. And in the parable of the sower, it in the last parts of it when it hits the good ground, it talks about that there's the potential of that seed having 30, 60, and even 100-fold of growth, right? Harvest. And even though the full context of that scripture is slightly different from what we're talking about, it relates to what we're talking about, because maybe you have found yourself from a business perspective where you are experiencing that 30-fold growth, or maybe you're even at the 60-fold and you're like, okay, how can I get to the next level? Rather, if it's the 30, how can I go to the next level to be at 60x? Or how can I get to 100x, which is what we all would aspire to, is to get to 100x growth. Now, the way that we can get to 100x growth is really being intentional with our data and insights. And when we think about data and insights, the more clear that we are, it takes out the guesswork in what we're doing from a time and a financial standpoint. And not only that, it helps us to really know how to monetize our business into another level and really enhance our customer experience and amplify our team efforts and all of that. And so we're going to literally, like I say, get into that. But I just kind of wanted to set the foundation on why it's important. Because if you don't know why it's important, it's easy to gloss over it and do the things that seem fun, but they're not necessarily the things that you really need to be focusing on. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. So you want to be ready to take notes, and you want to be thinking about your business as we go through this. Because as you think about it from your business standpoint, then you will understand like, oh, okay, here's some opportunities to really to hone in on this area a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's start with number one. The very first one that I want you to think about and really focus in from a data insights standpoint to unlock that next level of kingdom business growth is in your customer experience. I want you to understand, the very first one you need to understand is your customer experience, online and offline. What does that look like? What does the data look like behind that customer experience? So, and even before the customer experience. So what happens before, when they're in the consideration phase? What happens when they're considering? What happens when they actually take an action? And then what happens when they're in the process of taking an action? What happens behind the action when they actually take it? Are they actually taking that action, or they're not taking it? What does that full customer experience look like? And it's easy to gloss over this, especially when you're a service-based entrepreneur, or even if you're a product-based entrepreneur, because we think, well, the experience is created from the product. The experience is created from the service that I provide. Well, yes and no. The experience is the holistic thing, pre-purchase, during post-purchase, and post-purchase. So many times, if there's a lot of friction points in your customer buying experience, then what will happen is then they will not purchase from you, or they will do things like abandon cart. And so abandon cart means they clicked on it, they showed some interest in it, but they didn't follow through on it. They left the cart, or they was holding it in their hand at the store, and something happened and they decided not to buy. Whatever that looks like, we want to be so in tune with that customer experience to really understand, like, what are the friction points and why they're not buying, or why they're not even engaging with it in the first place. And when you can really understand that, then what will happen when you truly understand the data behind that, there's a few things that will happen. You can increase your average order volume. So that's like when you're on that buying journey, you're evaluating that full customer experience of like going through the whole buyer's journey. What you can see is like, okay, there's not maybe enough touch points for them to be want to go ahead and to make the purchase, and then not only make the purchase, but then also to spend a little bit more money with us while they are there. And so you want to understand what would be some things that would make them want to spend more money with you, whether it's online or it's offline, and what are the friction points that are in the way from getting them to do that. Or another thing is when you really truly understand your customer experience, you can start to increase your lifetime customer value. So this is the time that how long a customer stays with you and continues to buy from you over time. And so there may be, if you don't understand the data behind that, and why they're buying from you, and what makes them stick around, and what would make them buy more, or what would make them to that retention to increase that customer retention, then what you will find is you'll find yourself in cycles of feast or famine, where you have good customer flow, but then it drops off. And so you really want to understand the data and the insights of what was contributing to that. And then also, when you really understand those friction points during a customer buyer journey, then you can also increase those conversions, and the conversions of actually buying and not abandoning cart. So what's the data, and what point in the buyer's journey are they abandoning cart, or what point in the journey are they they're just looking and really not taking an action. And so these are just things that you really want to consider, and these are things that we really help our clients do when they work with us through our growth consulting. I mean, we really go deep on that customer buying experience and really see like what is happening there. And because it's not just about, like, again, putting more money in the business, but it's really understanding what is happening in the business, so that you can create assets that you need to build an infrastructure to create leverage, where you can see accelerated growth with what's already in your hand. And where a lot of entrepreneurs miss the mark is that they are not being intentional and using what's already in their hand to maximize their growth. So now, which also brings me to point number 2, and the things that you want to measure is when it comes to your data insights to really increase that next level of kingdom business growth, is really understand the data and the insights behind your product and your service performance from a sales perspective. So what are those sales insights related to your product or your service? And so this will really help you to dig deep to see what's working in your business, because a lot of times we have so many products in our business and we have so many services in our businesses that it confuses the buyer, and they really don't know what to purchase, and so they don't make a purchase at all. And so we want to go back, and this is a beautiful opportunity to tap into the 80-20 rule to say, what is the 20% that's working, the 20% that's giving us 80% of our profit, and what are the opportunities for us to really create more acceleration and do more of that to really grow our business into the next level. Then that helps us to know, okay, where do we need to invest more time? Where do we need to invest more dollars? And then it even tells us like where are our gaps? And again, when we understand our gaps, then we know where we need to bridge those gaps, and we're not guessing and just throwing spaghetti up against a wall. Or when I say spaghetti, that spaghetti is like there is representation of money against the wall and hoping that it sticks, or throwing our efforts up against the wall and hope it sticks. It's like, okay, we know exactly what's working, what's our best opportunity, and where we need to spend more time or money, or even create that right infrastructure to really boost those sales and conversions into another level, so that we can really increase our profits. And I will tell you, when you take that perspective of things, you literally you will see a fast turnaround in less than 90 days. A lot of time, if you already are at, especially if you're already at that multi 6 and 7 figure mark, it's likely that there's some things that you just need to adjust in the business that will help you to really accelerate that next level of growth. And then the last opportunity from a data and insights that we will talk about today is really evaluating your team performance. And so a lot of times we think that as business owners, oh, like my business is not growing and we just blame it on our team. And it's like, yeah, my team is not doing well. Well, when we really look behind that and we track the data and the insights of our team performance, then we are able to see, okay, well, do we even have enough resources for our team to be successful? Where are they missing the mark in really achieving the goals that we're trying to achieve? So say, for instance, you're trying to increase your sales. Well, is there even any key performance indicators in place that will track that growth? And then when you think about that, key performance indicators, those are things that really, like I say, it tracks that growth. We look at that as a growth metric. Or when we look at it, then we say, okay, if there's key performance indicators in place, like, do they have the right training? Do they have the right resources? Do they have the right tools? Or do they even have enough leads to really move the mark in the business? And so we get to look at the data and say yes, no, and we can make adjustments from there. This is what business owners who are really about God's business at a whole nother level. And when I say at a whole nother level, there's levels to this, right? And there's levels to where, okay, I'm in skill building, and skill building happens typically when you're a newer entrepreneur and you're just trying to build the skill of what it is that you're doing. Rather, you're building the skill of selling your product or selling your service. But then when you move past that and you start to see a level of growth, then now it's like, okay, how can I amplify that growth? And then when you amplify that growth and you're starting to look at, like I say, you're looking at the data from a customer experience standpoint. You're looking at the data from your product and service performance. And then when you get to the next level where you're trying to create even more leverage, now that's you duplicating your efforts through team, and you're making sure that your team has everything that they need in place in order. And we're not guessing at this. We're not doing things that, okay, because we see what another business owner is doing it. We're doing this from a customized standpoint based on your unique business, your unique team. And this is, I mean, when you don't do it from this standpoint and you go with generic things that you just find on YouTube or you find through other businesses that you're trying to replicate, then this is where you find yourself kind of really throwing spaghetti up against the wall instead of really coming into the place where you have a customized plan that it really has the data and the insights that's going to move the needle to really hit the mark in your business. And this is where you stop repeating the same year over and over, or this is where you stop going and making uninformed decisions that really is not the answer, like putting more money in the wrong departments or finding conflict with your team members and you don't really have the data and the insights to really say, hey, well, if I would have had the insights to say, well, if I had this a metric in place that would help them to get to the next level. Or if I knew what was happening on the back end of that experience for my team members, then this would spill over into the way that we are converting on ourselves with our products, or in really creating that next level of educational marketing, or whatever that needs to happen to really take that experience to the next level. And again, I mean, these are things that we do all the time with the businesses that we work with, especially from a high level. And so we have levels of where if you're in the mastermind part of it, you're creating the foundational assets that you need in order to start beginning to track that data. But if you're at that multi 6 and 7 figure mark, you're creating assets for leverage to multiply your income and your impact, so that you're not having to keep going out and burning your energy and burning your through resources. You literally have what you need to create a multiplication effect with ease and grace and flow, and you're not guessing at it. So if you are at that place and you're like, okay, like I identify with the either one of them, like you want to go into the bio of the description of this podcast. And if you're at the 6-figure mark, then you want to book a call for the next level mastermind. If you are at the multi 6 and 7 figures, then you want to book a growth strategy call. And either way, let me tell you, we will get you on track, and you will see a difference. And when I say a difference, not just a menial difference, you will start to see a difference in your bottom line. And you will also start to see a difference in the way that you're focusing your efforts, and you will stop wasting time in the wrong direction, doing the wrong things that is not yielding the results that you are looking for in your business. So those are the ways that you can work with this. But then also, I want to make the final invitation for this month to join us in our first Faith and Business Mixer, which will be on May 14th at 6:30 in Waxahachie, Texas. And if you're in this local and surrounding areas, I encourage you to be in the room. It is definitely going to be a game changer as we are breaking down the silos of you building your business and doing it God's way. And so make sure that you go and you click that link in the description of this podcast and join us May 14th at 6:30, Waxahachie, Texas. You guys, I pray that this episode has been a blessing to you. And until next time, chat later. Did that episode feel juicy or what? If so, please do me a favor and take 30 seconds to write a review. Your review helps us to spread the mission of creating generational wealth around the world. And if you tag me on IG stories, I'll be sure to reshare the love. And don't forget to join our Kingdom Collaborators Network, where we're coming together to intentionally collaborate to grow our business. Until next time, remember, for with Christ, nothing is impossible.